Yes, PC. Good.
We're good.
All right. Well, yeah, as we had a crazy little sports week here. We had every single sport played there. Well, the four major sports anyway for the U.S. played there on Monday. We had a terrific World Series that ended up having some of the biggest numbers that MLB has had in recent memory. Actually, going back to the 2017 World Series there against the Dodgers and the Astros, that was the last time that MLB had put up these types of numbers. Kind of surprised it wasn't a little bit more than that, just because I felt like this. I feel like this World Series ended up getting a little bit more coverage than that one did. And I mean, the Yankees. But when they broke down, sorry, I'm gonna get a little nerdy here. When they broke down uh, how the households end up going, only about 20% of New York households actually had the Yankees game on, which is way lower than I thought that they would end up. Or, sorry, they were 12. Los Angeles was 20, and those two just that was a little bit lower than I thought. So it was almost just garnering more national media attention. But um, all in all, great series. Really good if you're Freddie Freeman. I had posed this question here before. I didn't realize I still had my glasses on. I was posing this question here um, to Tyler and Josiah before the show. Is Freddie Freeman a first ballot Hall of Famer now? Like when you start stacking up not only his numbers but just like iconic moments for his career. I mean, we're getting to a point where, like, yes, this World Series moment was really cool, but like you remember the hugs for Freddie All-Star campaign thing that he ended up getting, and he finally ended up getting the nomination to be a part of it. Like, when he was an icon for the Braves, and then he switched over to the Dodgers, and nobody really hated it. Like he was just kind of a friendly guy in general, so people enjoyed it. Wins another championship after winning one in Atlanta. I cannot believe that we had 6 consecutive games there with a home run in the World Series there for him as well. I don't want to sound hyperbolic or have some sort of recency bias here. Freddie Freeman is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'd like to see the case against it. Is there any sort of disbelief there?
The only thing I'm looking at here is the fact that usually they want 3,000 hits, and right now he's got 2,267.
Well, Votto's gonna make it in. Okay, so don't sit there and put that bad juju on him. All right.
So I wanted to see what his numbers look like next to Votto. Shocked that Votto has more home runs. Similar batting average. Votto a little bit higher OBP. Almost an exact slug. Votto with a little bit higher OPS. I mean, very similar careers. And the only thing is, Freddie got to reap the benefits of staying with a bad team throughout the mid 2010s, and Votto never did. And for Votto's sake, I wish he could have.
Yeah.
Freddie
He
stayed
didn't
through.
want to. Votto didn't want to. That's the difference.
Freddie stayed in Atlanta through a lot of bad years, and was there for the rebuild. Got to see players like Acuna and Albies come up. Got to see them develop pitchers like Max Fried, Mike Soroka, and wish that Votto could have done that. But yeah, go ahead.
Do you have to not to interrupt you? The year that the Braves won the World Series was when Acuna was out.
Yeah.
I feel like Votto in some of those big spots, and I mean, obviously, like I just said that Votto's a Hall of Famer. I'm definitely defending him every chance I have there. Freddie's got a bit more of a clutch gene, no?
Yeah. Votto, I mean, he had his moments, Mother's Day in 2012 or whatever that was. I'm not sure if Baseball Reference will show how many walk-offs he has. But, part of me always wonders how Votto would have done if he were consistently in big games and were consistently, let's just say it, playing on a winning team and playing in games that mattered. I mean, when I don't want to say that Votto didn't have protection in the lineup, but outside of a couple years, 2010, 2012, 2013, where we end up making the playoffs, I mean, how much production did we really get out of the lineup other than, Joey Votto? And there was, he took his walks, and I mean, what is his career OBP? His career OBP is 409. Let's see what Juan Soto's is so far throughout his career. His career OBP is 421. That's insane.
Bro, they're talking about him making over $70 million a year now. How is that guy a $70 million a year player? Or sorry, $700 million. So he would end up making over $50 million a year, but still $700 million for Juan Soto?
I don't know if a team is going to give him that many years.
So he's looking for about 14, apparently.
I mean,
14 years, $700 million.
He's only 26, but I don't know. I mean, the mega deals haven't worked out for, they didn't work out for Pujols when he did it. I mean, they didn't work out for Chris Davis from the Orioles. The reason that the Orioles had to rebuild for so long was because Chris Davis's contract. Josiah, you know all about it.
No, I think he was still a Reds fan at that time.
14 years on one contract is absolutely nuts. And for your information, I really started following the Orioles when they got Manny Machado, but I never followed them as much as I did the Reds, considering the game was so close.
Yeah, gosh, man, those were the glory days. That sucks that those were the glory days for Reds fans that were born late 90s, but that's just what happens, I guess. I just got to hear about all the cool things. Out of all of it, though, I mean, I think Freddie Freeman had to have ended up getting at least the most out of it, but yeah, I was kind of hoping it was going to go a little bit longer, personally. I was hoping it was going to go 6 or 7, even though I thought the Yankees would win it if it went that far. After seeing the first 3 games, I'm like, it's probably going to be Dodgers there in 4. I guess we got a 5th, but...
Did you watch Game 5?
Oh, yeah.
I stayed up until the top of the 9th. I had to go to bed. But I was shocked by Dave Roberts' bullpen usage. Pulling Jack Flaherty out so soon. After a bullpen game, with my new job, I'm able to listen to whatever I want throughout the day, and I can have headphones in for 7 hours of my day. So I've been listening to so much sports talk throughout the day. So Dodgers went bullpen game 4, and kind of conceded game 4. Game 5, they had Flaherty start, and he obviously threw 35 pitches. What did he do? Like an inning and a third, 2/3 maybe. I mean,
yeah.
But to just completely empty his bullpen like he did, because he had 3 guys throw 40 or more pitches in game 4 on Tuesday. And then they had Walker Buehler come in and end the game. I mean, I don't know who was going to close the game if Buehler didn't come in. If they were in a tight game and Buehler didn't want to come in, I don't know who was going to close the game. Because they had already used Michael Kopech in the 4th, and then they used Treinen in the 7th and 8th. And so I was shocked that they brought Treinen in so early, but it ended up working out. And if Garrett Cole covers first base, we're watching Game 6 right now, and we're in Los Angeles. They're in the bottom.
Or if Aaron Judge catches the ball, I mean, have you ever dropped a ball like that? That was playing catch. That was a bad drop, man. That was Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Like, holy crap, just end up choking there.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
that was Lamar Jackson throwing down the sideline there in the Buffalo game.
I mean, Garrett Cole, he did his job. I mean, he, other than not covering first, I mean, you got to give it to him. Even after that inning, once he got out of that inning, it still looked like he was going to give his team a chance to win. And
Yeah.
uh,
I
between
mean, 6 2/3 of an innings.
going, obviously the two biggest blunders of the series. One was bringing in Cortez, who Freddie Freeman was raking against left-handed pitchers towards the end of the season, and then the defensive meltdown in Game 5. I mean, the Dodgers, it was the true definition of a gentleman's sweep. They conceded Game 4. They said, we're not going to waste a starting pitcher on you guys in Game 4. We're going to worry about Game 5. And I think the Dodgers were fully accepting to lose Game 5. I mean, obviously down 5-0 early, and the fact that they came back and won Game 5 is really incredible. I think if the series would have even went 7 games, I think that would have been a lot of pressure had the series went 6 games, let alone 7. And we would have really had to start calling into question Dave Roberts as the manager, which I think this cements him another couple years in LA, finally getting a full season World Series. But I know there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Dave Roberts, is the reason they win or if they win in spite of him.
So I don't know. So this is a little bit of a cross sport thing here, but I sometimes I've had that thought with Phil Jackson there in basketball. Phil Jackson ends up coming into Chicago, and I know that they didn't end up winning too much beforehand, but I mean, you had Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, like we're already starting to kind of get the pieces together. They end up doing the triangle offense. He leaves there, and eventually he ends up coaching with Kobe Bryant, Shaq. So you're like, well, how much really is it Phil, and how much is it because he really didn't have that much success outside of that? I feel like Dave Roberts is kind of in that same camp where because the Dodgers have given them so much, you do kind of get there, but you still have to win the game. And I think his thinking was, all right, we're going to have tomorrow off. If we lose today and it goes back to Los Angeles, we have tomorrow off and we're going to go back home, and Yamamoto is going to end up pitching, and he just pitched really well there in Game 2. I expect him to end up going out there 5-6 innings. So you're probably still using Treinen because you used him, I swear, every fucking game in the postseason. Then you probably use 1 or 2 other guys. And then the night after that would be Buehler, and I know that you would have just ended up closing him out, I guess, there a couple nights beforehand. But I didn't really hate the bullpen usage just because you were already going to get that day off, and Yamamoto had pitched so well there in Game 2. I just kind of thought he would pitch well again in Game 6.
The thing that my roommate Caleb and I, we kind of figured immediately that they were going to leave Flaherty just out there to die and save the bullpen. But then pulling Flaherty early and then, using the bullpen pieces, that kind of made me realize that they value having Flaherty for a potential Game 7 on Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
More than they value winning that game for and with using the bullpen on Game 5. Because, like I said, he only threw 35 pitches. I mean, that's just like a bullpen.
Yeah, it is.
That's a short bullpen. So 35 pitches, you would have seen Jack Flaherty ready to come in at the first, sign of struggle from Walker Buehler. Looking at some of the ratings, I'm looking here on X, and it says that it's the largest audience for Game 1 of the World Series since 2017. It says that the World Series Game 5 viewership averaged 18.6 million this year compared to 11.5 last year. And the average viewership for the entire series was 4.5 million higher than the NBA Finals, which you had Boston and Dallas, also two very large markets, especially Boston.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think that. Do you think that Game One being as good as it was, do you think it helped the series being the first game, or do you think it would have helped more had it been Game Three or Game Four? I think I don't want to say that the series was a letdown after that, but that was one of my first thoughts. Was imagine if that game would have happened, you know, 4 or 5 games into the series rather than night one.
So it would have made the series better, I think, had it happened there in, say, Game 6. Like,
Yeah.
let's just say the Dodgers end up losing that game there a couple nights ago, and it goes back to Los Angeles. Yeah, that probably would have ended up helping. I think the letdown in the series was Game 3, honestly, because I thought the Yankees had the upper edge in the series. And so I thought by the time they got back there to Game 3, the Dodgers might have ended up expending a little bit more than what they would want, but I wasn't expecting Buehler to go out there and pitch so well. Judge not playing well in the series was just so massive because the Yankees are so predicated on him and Soto going back to back. And I know that Stanton was hitting really well, but he even kind of cooled off a little bit there in the series compared to how he had played there the rest of the playoffs. So I think between Judge not playing well and the fact the Dodgers won Game 3 in New York, that was kind of a letdown there for the series in terms of what I expected it to look like.
Yeah. Ohtani and Judge not having great series was.
That's the other thing too. He got hurt there. Was it Game 2 he got hurt?
Yes, it was. It was Saturday.
And I mean, dude, he was running like holding his arm.
Yeah.
It just.
I showed Claire the video. I showed Claire. That's Nate's girl. I don't know why I said that. I showed Violet. No, Nate just met this girl that he matched with. I showed Violet the video of the guy like the doctor diagnosing his injury, and she was like, "That does not look good."
Reminder: he's coming off of Tommy John surgery too.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the video of him today speaking in English?
I did not.
Here, I'll play it.
Whoa, no, hold on.
It's on X.
Okay, make sure it's not a verified guy or verified account.
It's from
YouTube. We're watching. We're watching you.
Okay.
You're not watching us anymore.
I got it. I'm gonna stream. Oh wait, hold on.
I'm so honored to be here and to be part of this team. Congratulations, Los Angeles. Thank you, fans.
Man.
Well, here comes the copyright.
Show mercy on us. The Shohei thing though is interesting because I think I came into the series going, okay, well, if the Dodgers win the World Series and he's like, there's not going to be any arguments for him not making the Hall of Fame, because there are people I've talked to where they don't think that he's a Hall of Famer yet, and I thought this World Series would end up just closing the argument. I believe that he's a Hall of Famer, but I didn't need the World Series. I think the World Series was kind of a letdown if you're a Shohei fan.
Yeah. Now, I understand that this was ruled out from the beginning, but what would have broke the internet and saved him from his earlier performance
Pitching
is Shohei Ohtani coming onto the mound, Game 5, 9th inning, closing out the
Yeah.
World Series.
Yeah. I don't know why they rolled it out so quick. Because he did have that surgery last year. Like, we're almost at the 1 year mark, if we're not already past it. So I am kind of surprised that it was ruled out as like a no, not going to happen at all.
I mean,
Okay, well, when you have pitching deficiencies, I'm kind of surprised that we're rolling that out so quick.
Yeah, I'm especially surprised that they rolled it out with them only having 3 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
If it was a rock solid, pitching rotation coming into the postseason, coming into the the World Series, I would have understood it. But I think had that blown up in a spot that mattered, Dodgers fans would have, wanted Dave Roberts' head on a flaming pike or.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. He ever has like a Madison Bumgarner type of World Series. Dude, and then he's also hitting. By the way, he's also hitting.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah. That was good baseball talk.
Okay.
Guys. It was good.
Yeah. So NFL trade deadline is happening on Tuesday. And I know what you're saying. Josh, you guys also record on Mondays. What are you doing talking about the trade deadline now? Well, some shit's going to happen. Okay? Like, some things are going to end up happening before we have a shot. So I wanted to be able to react to it as it happened. But I wanted to get us on record as to what we think a team should end up doing. So I want to pose this question to you guys. What team needs to make a move at the trade deadline, and what player should they go out and go get?
The Pittsburgh Steelers need another wide receiver. Pickens is playing good. The rest of the offense is finding ways, but Wilson's out here throwing dots and dimes. And it was 2 New York teams he beat. But the Steelers with a really good defense, a ball-moving offense. Could you imagine them with a true receiver 1? I mean, we're talking Super Bowl bound potentially if this team gets a true wide receiver 1 if Wilson keeps playing the way he is. I mean, the vibes in Pittsburgh right now are immaculate. But who are they going to get? Cooper got traded. Deontay Johnson got traded. Devontae Adams got traded. And Houston's also missing 2 wide receivers. So they're going to need a receiver there too. Tank Dell can't be a receiver 1 moving forward. So of these 2 teams, who are they going to go get? Well, I know one receiver who's pretending to be hurt, T. Higgins. I think he could be a big name to watch. The Rams said they're not getting rid of Cooper Kupp, but how can you not resist an offer too good? I mean, how can you? And even Tyreek Hill's would sound like he wants out of Miami, which wouldn't be a surprise at all. I don't know if Miami would get the return for him, but there's still a lot of receivers out there, and there's probably some small-name guys like Jalen Reagor, or there's going to be some no-name receiver that gets traded here over the next couple of days, someone you would least expect. But Pittsburgh, Houston, and since we're talking about receivers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Losing Mike Evans and Godwin hurts. Those 3 teams need a receiver if they want to have Super Bowl hopes.
Man. All right, Tyler, what do you got here?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna do Houston getting T. Higgins. So thanks, Josiah. We should have talked about this before the show.
I'm sorry, man. When you get me going, I got to say what I got to say.
I don't know. I mean, someone in the AFC North has to make a trade, or the NFC North. Yeah, I mean, someone has to make a trade to try to solidify themselves. I mean, you got the Lions at 6-1, Packers 6-2, Vikings 5-2, and Bears 4-3. Not much separation there. Lions and Packers play this weekend. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. I want to be dialed into that game. Bills Dolphins. We already know how that's going to end up. I just want to watch Lions Packers. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
well, I don't want to try to steal Josh's, but you made a good point there, Tyler, with the Lions. I've heard Max Crosby's a name that's been shopped. I know Mark Davis come out and said we're not doing it. Well, you may be majority owner, but you got other minority stakes, including Tom Brady, who's got a great football IQ. Any trade can be influenced. The Raiders are a dying team. Crosby's a huge piece, a huge superstar. Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson. If they could somehow work out a deal to get Crosby, I mean, the Lions, I think, already are the NFC favorites coming into this week to go to the Super Bowl. That could be the piece that helps them win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But that's also been a rumor now for a week and a half. So I don't know.
Well, good thing the trade deadline not for another 4 days.
Yeah. Side note, can you guys imagine the Bills Lions Super Bowl in New Orleans with those two fan bases in New Orleans where it's a party, and then you bring in people from Buffalo and Detroit? Come on. It'd be a party. For a week long. And one of them would win the Super Bowl.
New Orleans is Lil Wayne's home. And you already know Kendrick's going to be performing at the Super Bowl. If Detroit goes there, what's stopping Eminem, Lil Wayne, and Kendrick all getting on stage together and doing something at the halftime show?
Does he have a song with Kendrick?
Eminem?
Mm-hmm.
He's got one, so does Lil Wayne, I believe. Lil Wayne's got Mona Lisa, and Eminem's got Love Game.
Mona Lisa is an incredible song.
Yeah.
Song.
That whole album, the Carter 5, oh my gosh. Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't even explain how excited I am for this halftime show. Like, this is probably the one that I've been most excited for I don't know, probably 10 plus years. I wasn't really into the whole Eminem 50 Cent thing there a few years ago. But that one probably would have been the closest. I mean, they really don't. I've had this theory forever that they don't gear the halftime show for football fans. They have the halftime show for the people that aren't really that big fans there at the game. They're like, oh, I like that person's music. I'll end up watching them. Yeah, but anyway.
I know we're a sports podcast, but I gotta say, what an incredible run for Kendrick, man. We are going to have a couple million people worldwide singing She's Probably a Minor. The world is going to be trolling and dissing Drake. And that Kendrick, man, he dropped a diss on Tuesday. Here come Drake Friday. 15 minutes later, he dropped again. Not even a week later, he dropped the Not Like Us. I mean, that's an incredible run for the music, and just kudos to him, man. It's been a great time. Down goes Drake. Go to jail with Diddy.
Well, and you know what? I'm glad that we lost Drake that day. Well, not like that. Not like that. Okay, not like that. But I'm glad that we've just kind of stayed in the darkness there. I'm not a really big Drake guy. I mean, I guess every other album sometimes he'll end up coming out with a good song in that album. I think that the move here, I wanted to go with Detroit getting a pass rusher. They're so good. Like, I mean, maybe Cam Jordan. I really don't see the Crosby or Myles Garrett move to Detroit, as awesome as that would be. I just really don't see it happening. Now, Marshawn Lattimore to Baltimore. Oh, I see that happening, and I see that as a necessity for Baltimore. If you end up looking at what is really going to be Baltimore's downfall, I come on here all the time, and I shit talk. Sorry, my tribal chief just ended up coming on here on SmackDown. If you look at what Baltimore's struggle has been this season, it's been the pass defense. It hasn't necessarily been the offense, because Josiah will be on here to let you know that they have 2 MVPs there. And I know that I shit on the Ravens a lot, and I shit on Lamar a lot. I will say Lamar is playing at a really high level right now. And Derrick Henry has definitely added something to the offense. I don't think that the Deontay Johnson move does anything other than, well, now the Ravens have to pay an extra $900,000 to a receiver this year. That's the only thing that I see end up happening with that trade. but Marshawn Lattimore would bring a presence there to a defense that is bottom 25, and basically every single passing category there on defense, and just bring it up a little bit. I'm not saying that you got to have a top, a top 5 defense to win the Super Bowl, but when you're looking at a Chiefs team that I feel has a really strong chance to win the Super Bowl, a big reason is, well, not only do they have a good quarterback that yeah, he does make mistakes this year. He's definitely had more than usual, but he just tends to kind of make the right plays at the right time. The defense is just on another level right now. That's why they're winning all these games, and that's part of the reason why I think they're going to win. They're also going to get a whole lot of guys back. So they're winning games now like this, and they're about to get Pacheco and Rice back before the playoffs, at least during the playoffs. The Ravens, on the other hand, they have a quarterback that I think can make the right decisions. Maybe not in the biggest of spots, and we can disagree on that. But even if you were to say that he was at that Mahomes level, which I think he's number 4 in the league right now, the defense is not there to help him out if he's struggling. If you have another Kansas City game there in the playoffs or in week 1 or actually any Kansas City game that the Ravens end up playing, Marshawn Lattimore would end up bringing something to the defense that I think they're lacking right now, and that's what I would do.
I want to take that a step further for a sec because it actually goes a little deeper than that too. But first, the biggest thing about Deontay Johnson, he's number 1 in the NFL for all receivers right now in separation time. He can do it pretty quick. He's a fast guy. You add another speedy offensive weapon. I don't know how much offense he's going to get to play, but that will make a big factor down the road. Second, Marcus Williams, free agent safety we signed a few years ago when we let Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott walk, who Elliott is having a great year right now. I believe he's in New England. But we let these guys walk to bring in this Marcus Williams when we could have had the Honey Badger, right? And he just got benched last week. He missed the entire game because of his poor play, which resulted in Eddie Jackson getting put in there. And what did he do? He dropped a couple interceptions. So bringing Marshawn Lattimore, because that Marcus Williams was a Saint before he came here, bringing him to that secondary to help kind of lift that safety back up. Because once you start playing with your leaders from an old team, it really helps elevate it. We talked about Derrick Henry helping Lamar excel his game. And this isn't uncharted water for DaCosta. In 2019, he went out and got Marcus Peters to help Marlon Humphrey elevate his game, and the defense took off. A few years ago, he got Roquan Smith to help Patrick Queen elevate his game, and now he's playing a great year here in Pittsburgh. So it is not far-fetched at all to say Lattimore could be a Raven by Tuesday. I think the cards are there, and DaCosta we trust, baby.
Speaking of elevating game, I don't know if you guys have seen, Keon Coleman has been playing very well the past 2 weeks with Amari Cooper in town. 2 weeks ago against Tennessee, he had 7 targets, 4 receptions for 125 yards. Last week at Seattle, he had 7 targets, 5 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown. And I don't know if you guys saw any of the highlights from Keon Coleman last Sunday, but Tariq Woolen, he broke up a pass in the end zone to Keon Coleman, and he was talking. He was talking some trash. And Keon Coleman got his revenge and had a contested catch that was in the end zone for a touchdown against Tariq Woolen, and then ended up pushing him straight into the ground and pointing directly at him. Let me just play the video. Honestly, this is pretty cool. I want to give my rookie receiver some love here. So, nice defense by Woolen here. He is obviously talking some trash. Coleman just kind of nods his head, goes about his business, and he gets his revenge. Nice one-handed contested catch. So then he continued to do this, point right at him. And what they didn't show is this was someone different, but he blocked someone from the Seahawks directly into the bench. But what they didn't show is after the touchdown, after Roland was talking all that trash, Coleman went up to him and tapped him on the helmet, as in like, "Oh, good try, little bro." He has been a force since Amari Cooper has arrived in Buffalo. And
Veterans help elevate rookies, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to compare. I don't understand. I can do it on Baseball Reference, but on Football Reference, Josh, what are you doing, bro?
I'm back.
Okay, all right, we're good. Okay, yeah.
What was he doing?
He was flipping from portrait to landscape. Anyways, so I'm gonna try and compare Keon Coleman to Xavier Worthy because those two guys were
Compare him to Zay
huh?
Compare him to Zay Flowers. We both got play action quarterbacks with speedy young wide receivers.
Well, no, I'm talking about Xavier Worthy and Keon Coleman because the Bills traded back, let the Chiefs draft Xavier Worthy, and got flamed for it. And
Yeah.
Yep.
so let's see what's going on here. We have Keon Coleman, 8 games, 21 receptions, 396 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And we have Xavier Worthy, 19 receptions, 235 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 160 less yards, same touchdowns, 2 less catches. But last 2 games, Keon, 5 for 70 and 4 for 125. Xavier Worthy had 4 for 37 and 3 for 19. But he also does have some rushes on the year. Let me see what his yards are there. Okay, so he's 7 rushes, 47 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he had that 1 touchdown very first week rushing the ball. So he does have 5 touchdowns for 282 yards, quick math. Keon has 396 with 3 touchdowns. So, pretty similar stat lines. He just has 2 more rushing touchdowns. Keon doesn't have any rushes this year. So
That's insane. I mean, you would think that Xavier Worthy would have ended up getting more opportunity with Rashee Rice being down, Marquise Brown being down. And they brought in D-Hop. I don't know. It's kind of shocked me how little they've used him, but
So how many players for
All
them
right.
have a catch?
you guys ready to get some picks in here?
Yeah. Let's do this.
We got the Jets take down the Texans last night. Not gonna lie, before that game, the fact that Jets were 2-point favorites, I was shocked. I was inclined to bet the Texans because I was like, I know that they got some guys out here, but I mean, what are we doing? Well, forgot. Strat's really not playing that well this year. And even an old Aaron Rodgers looked better than that last night. But Tyler, this is just kind of luck of the draw here, actually. Your game is listed here first. So Miami going into Buffalo. Now, the last time this happened, we lost Tua. Like we lost Tua for a few weeks and came back last week. Didn't play super well, low rusty. Bills are 6-point favorites. It is in Buffalo, and last time I checked, it's in November. So no Miami weather going up there in Buffalo.
Let's see.
I guess is the better question, are you taking the over-under on the Bills, or do you actually think that Miami has a shot here?
I'm not gonna waste everyone's time. This is a classic Bills belt to ass game. They are winning.
Yeah.
Been there a few times.
Von Miller is coming back this week, not from injury, but from suspension. And Von Miller, for all the trash that I talked about him last year, Von Miller was playing very well before suspension. Served a 4-game suspension following the Ravens game. where I believe that the Bills knew that a suspension was coming. He only played 9 snaps in that game. Not that I think it would have made a difference, but he is healthy. He is coming back from injury. And I think that if I were the Dolphins, I would have said, hey, buddy, why don't you wait until after we go to Buffalo for Tua to come back? Because twice in the past 2 years, the Bills have injured Tua. It was the Bills that first hit him and knocked him made him a little woozy. And then that was on Sunday. And then on Thursday is when he got hit and concussed in Cincinnati. And then earlier this year, the Bills took him out. Damar Hamlin, shout out, Damar Hamlin took him out in Miami. So, yes, Josiah down there doing the Tua fingers, the fencing, the fencing fingers. So yeah, there is not a universe in which I see the Dolphins beating the Buffalo Bills this Sunday. This might get clipped on Monday and played back to me if somehow the Bills do lose. But as of 9:04 p.m. on Friday, November 1st, there is not a way that I see the Bills losing this game. Yes.
Bills ain't losing.
No.
You know why we're exercising? Bills ain't losing.
No.
It's history shows us they're not losing, and the Bills are just the far more complete team than Miami right now. And I think this could be a really, really bad day for Tua. I would bench your Miami players.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to say it. The Dolphins, they've got to show me something, and until then, I can't put not even money. Just I can't put faith in them. I mean, over the past few years, they have crumbled at every twist and turn that has any sort of pressure up against them. So I'm going Bills. Josh, I don't foresee you going any different. So
yeah, no, it's definitely Bills here. I mean, I mean, Miami was kind of screwed there as soon as Tua ended up going down. I mean, with each passing concussion, he's staying off the field. It seems like an extra week. So it's this is why we had all three said don't pay Tua there in the offseason. It's nothing against the kid at all, but it's just he just can't seem to stay on the field. And like you said, I mean, Buffalo was held accountable there for two of those hits. So, yeah, I'm taking Bills here in a heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Next game, again, this is a random draw here. Denver at Baltimore. Baltimore, they're 9.5-point favorites. 9.5-point favorites. Bo Nix has been kind of a surprise, not to Josiah. He definitely called Bo Nix as being one of the better quarterbacks here in this past draft. But tough spot, Baltimore coming off a loss there in division. You know they're going to be motivated. You think that 9.5 number is fair, Josiah?
I think it's going to be closer, Josh. I sort of was weary coming into last week's game for a trap game with Cleveland. I said I was here on the show too. And it's definitely what happened. Now, the Ravens should not lose this game. But I've said it before, the only team that can beat the Ravens is the Ravens. And Bo Nix is a rookie quarterback. He was kind of rough to start the year, but he's really got it together these last couple weeks. So, dealing with that, the 30-second pass defense, we talked about why we need Lattimore at the trade deadline. Bo Nix has a great opportunity to stat pad and go for 300 yards here. Zach Orr seems to be having a lot of issues at DC. They brought in Dean Pease. He's not helping out. And there's an issue on the field with the defense. They're not lining up. They're not communicating properly. There's so many times the ball gets snapped and they're not ready, and it's leading to these big plays in the secondary. That's got to be straightened out. Sean Payton knows how to exploit that, and this could be a really, really dangerous second trap game for Baltimore. But realistically, they should win this one, but 9.5 is way too much. They play to their level of the opponent. I could see this being a touchdown game, maybe even a field goal game.
But you are taking the Ravens to win?
I am by a field goal or a touchdown. 9.5 is not good.
Wow. Looking at the Broncos' schedule, they've played the Panthers and the Saints the past couple weeks. So not really two defenses that are putting up good fights. I think I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I don't know if I'm going to take the points. I don't know. 9.5 is a solid amount in the NFL. But I do think the Ravens win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens, but I'm taking the Broncos to cover. I said the exact same thing last week. The Ravens had a big spread last week too, and I was just like, yeah, this has Cleveland at least covering it written all over it. I kind of have the same feeling here, just because the Ravens do tend to get out to a bigger lead, and then it just kind of gets brought back in later on in the game, and then you look up and it is a 3-point game. I don't know if it's a field goal game necessarily, but I could see it being like a 10-point game for majority of the game. Broncos get a field goal late, and then that's how they end up covering. But I mean, Baltimore's definitely taking it. I don't see this as being another game that they could possibly lose. Division games are tough. Chargers Browns. Chargers, surprisingly, they're over 400 or over 400. Gosh, kill me. They're over 500. They've done it with a little bit less to work with there, at least on offense. They're 1.5-point favorites going into Cleveland. Jameis Winston coming off a really good game there last week. I mean, how are we feeling about this one?
Jim grew up in the Cleveland area. This is not unfamiliar territory with him, especially coaching at Michigan as well. Jim's going to have his people there. He's going to have his friends there, his family there. The Browns played really good against the Ravens, but with a weak pass secondary, you're missing your two starting corners who both are expected to play this week against Denver. But besides that, you're talking about going against a really good Chargers defense, a smart coach in Harbaugh as well. It took a lot for you to beat Harbaugh in Baltimore. The John Harbaugh, of course. It's going to be just as hard to do this one. I think the Browns' luck runs out. Give me the Chargers.
Is it supposed to be decent weather this weekend?
A little chilling. Like up there, I'm assuming it's going to be high of 62.
Side note, interrupting this, some 5-star who's the number 3 recruit in the 2025 class for college basketball just committed to Kansas over Ohio State, USC, and Kansas State. Darren Peterson. So,
well, yeah.
Kansas, the rich stay richer.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chargers Browns. Am I not mistaken that the Chargers and Browns, didn't they play like a 42-41 game or something in 2021?
I feel like there was something like that, but that
I mean,
was
it's
different
before
Chargers.
Deshaun got there, so probably.
Yeah, I don't think. Let's see here. Let's see this game log. It was 47-42. I remember I watched the end of this at the bar while I was watching the Bills dismantle the Commanders, the then Washington football team. Oh my gosh, that game was absolute cinema. The end of this 47-42 game. That was in Los Angeles. Okay. That was an incredible game.
So you thinking this again? I mean, the over-under is 41.5.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would love to see him put up some points again this week. But I don't know how well can Cleveland's offense put up points. I mean, you obviously improved at quarterback, but they just don't have the playmakers on the offensive side. I mean, you took away Amari Cooper. Nick Chubb is still. This is his second game or his first? Third. Okay, second and third. Sorry, this crown is doing wonders for me right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, their rushing defense. Where did I just saw? I just saw their rushing defense somewhere. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Go. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers to come in because you know what? Jim Harbaugh has won in Ohio recently, and I don't think this is going to
Recently.
be. Well, did he
What
have? Was it 2 wins in Columbus or 1? Was it 2 in the Big House?
they beat Ohio State so much it was starting to get kind of hard to keep track of. Josiah, do you have the number on that one?
On which one? I'm sorry, I had to respond to a text.
I
Oh,
asked,
okay. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I said, did Ohio State get beat twice in Columbus or twice in the Big House the past 3 years? I know they lost 3. I can't remember.
So they lost. They lost twice in Michigan, once in Columbus.
Okay, yeah. So Jim Harbaugh, yeah, he's won.
Rather with the more.
Okay. So yeah,
This year comes back to Columbus.
I'm taking the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers are going to beat the Browns at their own game. You know, defense and running the ball. I mean, the Chargers, the Browns, the Steelers, it's all kind of the same brand of football. It's, you know, we're going to run the clock out. We're going to own you in time of possession. We're going to run the football. We're not going to make mistakes defensively. We're not going to give up big plays. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, John?
I tend to disagree with the both of you. I actually think that Cleveland is a real live dog here. Chubb is slowly working his way back to getting about 100% of the workload. He doesn't really have the two guys behind him, Deontay Foreman and I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but the two guys, Jerome Ford, they're both hurt this week, so his snap percentage went up. I believe it was from 34% to 61%. I expect that to go up a little bit more, maybe to about the 75-ish range. I'm not saying that he's startable in fantasy football necessarily. I personally have him on my bench, but he's definitely starting to trend there in the right direction. David Njoku is an absolute weapon. Pair that up with, I know that he hasn't matched his potential, but Jerry Jeudy, you give those guys Jameis Winston, and I mean, dude, Tillman last couple of weeks actually, he's been starting to kind of pop off, and he can be kind of like that down the field threat. If I have this right, I feel like Cleveland kind of started hitting their stride last week, kind of like they did as soon as Joe Flacco took over last year. So I actually think that the Browns should be favorites in this game, and I'm definitely betting on this one. And just so you know, because somebody had ended up saying that Jim Harbaugh has won there in Ohio recently. Cleveland actually just won there last week, but Saints Panthers. I mean, I really don't even want to. I won't be watching. That's for sure. So I'll take Saints.
Yeah, Derek Carr's back in this game. Panthers got nothing. Worst team in the football league. You just traded your wide receiver 1. I don't even think Thielen's playing. He's still hurt, probably on IR. Give me Saints.
This is a patented whoever wins America loses game. Over under 4.5 times this game gets shown on Red Zone. I'm taking the under.
Under.
I mean,
Yeah.
They'll show it once when the game kicks
Over.
off. Josiah, come on.
The Panthers are going to score like 50 or I'm sorry, not the Panthers. The Saints are going to score like 50 points.
With Spencer Rattler?
With Derek Carr, it's his return game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
I'm taking the Saints, but it ain't going to be pretty and it ain't going to matter. Neither of these teams are fighting for the NFC South. This is just okay. There's a tweet that I saw a couple years ago. It said that this is just a game that happens so that they can update the stats and the standings for Josh Allen's My Career. Okay, that's the only reason this game matters is just to update the standings. This is what you see when you're playing and you see the game scores at the bottom of the screen on the ticker. It's the only reason. Josh Allen is going to look on the out-of-town scoreboard at Highmark Stadium, and he's going to see Saints 18, Panthers 14. Like, and he's going to be like, "Oh shit, good for the Saints."
Hey, Panthers are playing.
Yeah.
That's good for everybody. No,
Yeah.
it's actually bad for everybody when they play.
It's good for the ratings for every other game.
Yeah, it puts more pressure, really. Now Raiders Bengals. So this is unfathomable. The Bengals are 7-point favorites.
Who's starting? Is it Gardner Minshew?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to show Josiah how to beat Gardner Minshew. I just think that the number 7 is a little bit too big. I don't think that a team that has not been able to show the ability to win at home should be favored by 7. I don't think that a team that doesn't have T. Higgins, Orlando Brown, or Zach Moss in the game, I don't think they should be 7-point favorites. I know the Raiders are a bad football team. That seems to be the only type of team that we can beat right now. I just hate the number, but we're definitely going to win.
Nope, you're not. Let me tell you why. Gardner Minshew is going to have Cincinnati's number. The defense is not going to be able to come up with answers. Raiders have a solid defense. Not super good, but solid. You're not going to have T. Higgins. You're not going to have Orlando Brown. Is that Joe Burrow on the injury report?
Yeah, it is.
Well, Lamar Jackson's also on the injury report. Did you want to go back on that too, or?
Lamar's taken off. He's playing. It's been confirmed. He's not even on it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, and Burrow, is he not playing either? Is he also getting traded? Is he also faking an injury? Just wanted to double check there.
I'm just saying this has trap game for Cincinnati written all over it, just like the Eagles.
Trap
Give me the
game,
Raiders.
Josiah.
It's not a trap game when you're 3-5. It's just another game.
Exactly.
It's a trap
Season's
game
on the
because the
line.
Raiders-
That cannot, like, there's no trap. That's if you're walking through, you know what, I won't even say that. That's too mean. But if you're walking somewhere and a place where there's gonna be bombs, it's not a booby trap anymore. Okay, there's just bombs there, and you're walking on them.
It's just Chicago. Anything else, Josiah?
No, give me the Raiders.
Okay.
Just say team every week.
I am going to say that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to get their first home win of the year. First week in November. It's not going to be pretty because the Bengals don't have a very good run game. They make their money, they make their hay in the passing game. And you see right here, the Raiders are the 7th best pass defense. The Ravens could take a couple notes from them, sounds like.
Only Harbaugh and the O-line.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of lines, I will say, I mean, over under 3.5 sacks for the Raiders this game.
Oh, over.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be pretty. I think Joe Burrow is going to take some hits here. I would not be surprised to see. Huh?
Crosby's going to have a day and get traded. I'm telling you. Crosby, 3 sacks.
So Crosby's had 3 games against the Bengals, 5 sacks.
Total or each?
The fact that you have to ask that though really tells you how Cincinnati has been over the last few years. But it is total.
Okay,
that one is total.
That's surprising. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals, but I think it's gonna be low scoring.
Yeah.
They better hope it's not windy, because, gosh.
McPherson can't. Sorry, Mike Nugent. Oh no, it is Evan McPherson that's still kicking for the Bengals. I don't know why I keep getting those names mixed up.
Josh,
all right, Commanders.
Josh, what website do you look at when you pull the games up?
I'm just going on ESPN.
Oh, okay. I wonder why they show them differently on Football Reference than they do ESPN.
Commanders, Giants. Commanders are coming off of a very, very, very emotional win. They're against Chicago. Playing a divisional matchup there against the Giants. Commanders are 4-point favorites. Normally, I feel like it is a trap game coming off an emotional game, but most times you don't face Daniel Jones coming off those emotional games. Now, Josiah obviously doesn't know what I'm talking about because when you talk about Lamar Jackson's record there against the NFC, you do have to mention the fact that Daniel Jones is the one there in the loss column. You said what?
That was a John Harbaugh game. Continue.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
hey.
Well, no, John Harbaugh, the O-line, the defense. I bet you the receivers dropped some passes in that game, too. Do you remember those?
The Ravens were up 2 scores in the fourth quarter on the Giants. I blame the defense.
How
I
does the
think-
quarterback not close that game out? Like,
Josiah-
that's insane.
Josiah, I think that stat should go on Wacky Wednesday. How is Danny Derps the only NFC quarterback to defeat Lamar Jackson, the 2-time MVP? In case you guys forgot, in case anybody in the audience forgot, 2-time National Football League MVP.
He's the best quarterback in the league. Best quarterback in the league, Tyler. Man, come on. Like, we can't even just stop there. He would have Lamar's been in the league now, Josiah. How many years? 6 years now?
Yes.
He had 8 rings if it wasn't for Harbaugh.
Yeah.
He get an extra 2 just for Harbaugh not being there.
And you know what?
Jeez.
You know what? Best quarterback in the
What?
league couldn't close out a game with a 2-score lead against the Giants. The Giants. Josiah, come on. We're better than that.
Hey, when Justin Fields is a good quarterback in some people's eyes, not everybody's, Josiah's, but not everybody's. Look, we have to. But anyway,
Everyone
Josiah,
has
does Daniel
scored.
Jones end up beating? Does he end up beating Jane Daniels as well? To add to his resume?
No. Washington's got this in the bag. Easy day. If I felt more comfortable in fantasy, I'd be starting Austin Eckler because it's going to be a bloodbath.
Bloodbath.
Any other insight, Josiah?
No, just a bloodbath.
Okay, yeah. I got the Commanders convincingly here. I feel bad that Giants and Yankees fans are gonna have a rough few days. You had to watch the Yankees lose the World Series in the Bronx, and then you have tickets to the Commanders Giants, and this is not going to be much better. The Commanders probably frustrated that the only touchdown they scored was on the final play of the game when the clock was at 0-0. I think that the Commanders are going to, the videos of people after they lose games that always go viral the next day of people playing Madden against like the same matchup and playing and winning like 150-0.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Commanders are going to do against the Giants. Like, you're going to hear heavy breathing because the Commanders are just going to be like, you know what? Like, we didn't play very well against the Bears. We squeaked out a win. And the Giants, you just have to be the next team that faces the wrath, okay? It's like how, I don't know if you guys have seen that people are saying that when you play the Lions, you should just plan on losing the next week because of how beat up you get playing the Lions and how just tough and physical the Lions are. That's what I feel like is about to happen to the Giants. Like, you played the Commanders after a very emotional win, and you just got the short end of the stick. You're going to see Jaden Daniels when he's mad. Like, I'm sorry. We have yet to see an upset Jaden Daniels.
He might be a little bit this week because that pass rush is going to get after him a little bit, and with the sore ribs, I could see him. That's the only reason why I feel like the line is 4 is just because as long as the Giants get after him early, he might be forced to end up throwing the ball a little bit earlier than what he would like, and maybe that would end up getting him into some trouble. If it wasn't for the rib injury, I would definitely feel like this is like a 10-point game.
I'm looking for him to be subbed out and Marcus Mariota come into the game, third quarter, fourth
Just
quarter.
a little
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. AR-15, buddy. Tap me in. Hardy Bros.
Cowboys, Falcons. Falcons are favored by 3.5. Not going to get Deron Bland and not going to get Micah Parsons back.
Cheers.
So, Kirk Cousins over under passing yards. We'll set it at, we'll be kind, 450. Right?
Cousins is going to have a good game. Atlanta should take this one swimmingly. Dallas just doesn't have it this year. It's a full-blown meltdown. I think McCarthy gets fired at the end of the year because when it comes down to a quarterback and coach, it's always going to be the coach.
But,
And Jerry's just Cowboys are going to be Cowboys.
but the situation is similar to Ohio State. It's a brand with a lot of tradition and a lot of continuity. So if you fire Ryan Day after he goes, 9-3 this year and loses in the Boca Raton Bowl or the Verbo Bowl, like if you fire Mike McCarthy, I mean, who are you going to replace him with? I mean, that's Jerry Jones's guy. I mean, if he wanted to fire him, he would have fired him in the past 2 or 3 years. When, they ran the Dak quarterback draw or when they lost by multiple scores to the 7 seed at home. I just don't. I mean, what has to happen for Ryan Day and Mike McCarthy to get fired? I mean, they're just not living up to what the coaching, the brand and the tradition expects of these coaches. But they're not going to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think McCarthy will he won't be re-signed. He won't be fired. They just simply won't re-sign him at the end of the year. They just don't have a good team. Like when you pay Dak as much as you do, okay, it's when you paid him the first time, we didn't understand it. You dragged it out for 2 years, so you end up paying about $10 million a year more than you would have there in the end. Had you paid him a couple years beforehand. Now you're in a spot where, you just re-upped. Contract starts next year. And you just put another big portion of your money there in CeeDee Lamb. And my guess is it'll be Micah Parsons that gets that third. That's not a big 3 I would bet on. Personally, I think CeeDee is a top 5 receiver in this league. Absolutely. I don't think Mike is a top 5 edge rusher, and I don't think that Dak is a top 10 quarterback. Like I just don't, and they're gonna be paid as such. So, I think that this is gonna be a really bad spot here for the Cowboys, and there's a shot that they keep it close there for a second. I just feel like they're not gonna be able to get pressure there on Kirk Cousins, and when you give Kirk Cousins time to throw, it's just like Jared Goff. He's just elite. Now, New England Titans, again, kind of like the Saints-Panthers games. Sorry, fans, but I do not care. And just for the sake of being interesting, I'll say the Patriots win this game.
Oh God.
The Bears-Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by 2. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay?
Bears suck. That's why.
Did we forget that Caleb Williams was playing for the Bears? Did we forget that? Okay, did we forget that Call of Duty already dropped? So Kyler Murray's already done for the year? Did we forget that Marvin Harrison has just been underperforming all season long? He's playing like a true Ohio State quarterback. Oh, wait. He's a wide receiver for Ohio State? Okay. He's acting as if he's a wide receiver from Ohio State. Yeah, I don't understand the hype here with the Cardinals. Give me the Bears. Come on.
No, give me the Cardinals. Bears suck. They're a fake team. They've had an easy schedule. The Cardinals going to be another easy one for them, but you take down the 49ers, you're a good team. I don't care what your record says. Give me the Cards.
Josiah, you've been riding with the Cardinals all year. And you know what?
Yeah.
I respect that, okay? Let me say this.
Use your power.
God, I don't know who to pick in the Patriots Titans. I didn't make a pick. But
Do you think that game will be close?
huh?
That game is
Do you think
on
that-
TV.
Go ahead.
Josh, what'd you say? Josiah keeps yapping.
You think that game will be close or something? Or I will not be watching.
I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll be worth watching. But one team's got to win.
Do they? Do we have to play it?
Can we just can we just not? I guess I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots to get a second straight win, and they're at 3. If they win this weekend, they're at 3. I said they wouldn't have more than 4 or 5, so we are in over territory. They've got 2 through 8 weeks. So, if they win a third in week 9, hey, we might hit 5. Anyways, what game we're talking about? Bears?
Bears Cardinals.
Bears Cardinals. Okay. Yeah. Give me the Bears. Both teams are pretty inconsistent.
Yes.
And the Cardinals, let's look at their game log here. They lost to the Bills, beat the Rams by 31, lost to the Lions as expected. Close game, only 1 score. Lost to the Commanders by 28, beat the 49ers by 1, lost to the Packers by 21, beat the Chargers by 2, beat the Dolphins by 1. So I think the Bears, this might be a dumb
Hold
take.
on.
Whoa.
Look at the Bears.
What?
Look at the Bears schedule. Look who they've beaten and tell me that they're going to beat these Cardinals. You can't just look at one schedule, not the other.
Okay, poo-poo head. They beat the Titans. They beat the
Good win.
Rams. They beat the Panthers and the Jaguars.
Good wins. They beat Trevor Lawrence, Matthew
Hey.
Stafford.
How many
Bears.
How many wins are between those 4 teams?
I rest my case.
Josiah, who have the Ravens lost to? And then remind me again how they're a Super Bowl contender. Can you remind me of that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I was going to hear that.
Oh,
Yeah, double sound effects.
that's rough. That's rough. Giving up game-winning drives to Gardner Minshew and Jameis Winston in his first start in 2 years. That's rough, dude. Okay, at least I can hang my hat on the fact that the Bills' 2 losses have been to Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, best quarterback in the NFL, according to JoJo, and CJ Stroud, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Best rookie quarterback.
I know you both.
What?
I know you both said it with sarcasm that Lamar's the best in the league, but you still said it, so I'm taking it and running with it.
All right. Anyways, I don't know. I think the Bears either win this game or they lose by like 15, because after a loss like that, you're either going to respond in one of 2 ways. You're going to get better. You're going to come together as a team. Probably not Tyreek Stevenson. I don't know where that motherfucker is, but he should be working at fucking Giordano's. Okay? Probably shouldn't be defending passes. Okay? But I don't know, the Bears might get fucking beat, right? You know, they might get clocked. But I think that either way, I think it says a lot about the state of the locker room and the coaching and the culture in Chicago at this very moment. If they come out with a win on the road, you know, on the West Coast, not the coast, but you know, in Arizona, I think it'll say a lot about Matt Eberflus and the Bears and my nails painted king, Caleb Williams.
I mean, they kind of need it too. Coming off a week where there's reports that the players aren't happy with the coaching staff, Caleb Williams' dad ended up coming out, I believe it was last night, then deleted his tweet about coaching. They kind of pointed to what Chicago's situation is. So yeah, I think that you made a good point there. The coaching staff probably needs it just as bad, if not worse, than the players do, just given the criticism that they've received this past week.
Yeah, giving up 13 yards on the play before the Hail Mary, and then the coach coming out and saying that the play before doesn't matter and they got to defend better on the Hail Mary. Let me tell you, from 13 seconds, our defensive coordinator during the 13 seconds game, Leslie Frazier, who gave up two straight 15-yard catches to the Chiefs when we knew they needed a field goal, he's no longer employed for the Buffalo Bills, okay? There's a reason for that. He's an assistant coach for the Seahawks because at some point we had to say, how the hell do you answer to what happened to giving up 2 receptions and letting the Chiefs move down the field in a clear situation where they just wanted to get in field goal range? Why are we playing giving the receivers 15 to 20 yards on 2 straight plays? It's the same thing the Bears did. You can't. The only thing prevent defense does is prevent you from winning. The Bears, you have to put some pressure on Jaden Daniels. You can't let him roll around and extend the play for 12 seconds before he throws the football. You can't rush 3 guys and have a quarterback spy. What the hell is the quarterback going to do? Is he going to run for 70 yards? Either put him and pressure the quarterback or put him in coverage. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's a dual threat, but he's not a fucking 70-yard threat. I mean,
and Matt Eberflus, a defensive-minded head coach too. So I mean that you would think they'd be a little bit more buttoned up on that front, which is kind of the more shocking thing, I guess, with it. Jacksonville, Philadelphia. Philly's a huge favorite again, 7.5-point favorites. It's in Philadelphia. Jacksonville, by the way, season started. Okay, so we can start playing some football games here. Maybe Trevor Lawrence just needs a little kick in the ass here. But not an ass kicking because he's gotten plenty of those this year. Philly is coming on, right on a 3-game win streak. Feeling really good. Who's taking this one?
Philly's taking this one because they're the better football team. Jacksonville, ETN is still hurt. They just lost Christian Kirk for the rest of the season. So this team's already banged up. They're not winning football games. I don't even know why this. I mean, we're going to see Josh Allen mid-game. He's going to go, good job, Eagles. And then go right back to it. That's the type of thing we're looking at. So
no, it's the 4 o'clock game, so Josh Allen won't see the score for this.
No, he'll be sitting in the hot tub like, good job, Eagles. There.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do what Doug Peterson did 7 years ago, and I'm going to say, Philly, 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 Philly! And they're going to run the Philly special, and the Eagles are going to win this. And the Jaguars, I'll give them credit. They played well against the Patriots. They won that game in London, their secondary home game, and then they played very well against the Packers. I will give the Jaguars credit. Yeah. It was what 30-27.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was 30-27. Hey.
I mean, how many quarterbacks did the Jags have to start? Because Green Bay had to play 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, I forgot Jordan Love got hurt.
It was about midway there through the third quarter. But I believe they had just scored there on the drive beforehand or something similar. So that's my only thing with it is like they did play well. Listen, I was big on Jacksonville. I've been big on Jacksonville the past few years. It gives me no pleasure at all to sit here and be like, man, I think I was wrong on Mr. Lawrence here. I think I was wrong on what he could do for Jacksonville. This would be a step in the right direction. It's a tough spot, man. That one's a tough spot. I think this is the game of the weekend. Lions-Packers. Lions are favored by 3. This is Detroit's first outdoor game of the season. Comes in game number 8 in Lambeau. Detroit is, up there with Kansas City as being the Super Bowl favorites. Green Bay, Jordan Love's a game time decision. Where are you guys feeling on this game?
Last time I saw these two teams play, I had my wisdom teeth taken out. It was my first night at home recovering. I was high on some medicine they gave me. And I sat there and I bet like $40 all over the Packers. Lil Wayne let him out the tunnel. Oh, the vibes were immaculate. I was for sure they were going to win that game. And then the Lions just did not give them a shot. They tried to fight, but the Lions took that one swimmingly. And I think you're going to look at the same thing here. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC and the Super Bowl contender out of the NFC, and I think they're going to steamroll right past Green Bay. By the way, I disagree with you that this is the game of the week.
What do you think it is?
What is Rams,
Baltimore, Denver?
Seahawks?
I'll tell you soon. In due time, I'll tell you.
Don't tell me it's Joe Flacco going into Minnesota. Don't tell me.
Listen.
Old Joe Cool.
We'll get there.
Slinging it.
Tell me who you want to win this game first. We'll get there.
All right. Who do I want to win? I'll give either of them the dub if we're talking about wants and needs. But who do I think is going to win? Damn, if the Lions can go into Lambeau, first outdoor game of the year. I mean, it's gotta be freaking cold in Green Bay. It's gotta be by now. If Detroit can go into Green Bay and win this game, I think that 49ers, they're not playing this week. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start talking about the Lions. I mean, not start talking. I think we're gonna have to really consider the Lions. I want to see them make a trade if they win this. I want to see them make a trade that puts them over the top. I want to see them make the Max Crosby, Myles Garrett trade. I'll go Lions just because quarterback is unknown for the Packers right now and who's going to start. Malik Willis, got to give him credit though. It's not been bad. He came in as the closer on Sunday for the Packers.
He hasn't lost yet.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm going to.
What?
Go ahead.
Don't make me mute you again. Okay. Keep that in mind.
I'm just going to say I'm going to double down on Detroit winning this game because I just checked out the weather for this game. The high in Green Bay is going to be 53, and they're calling for 100% chance of rain with about an inch of rain. So this is going to be a messy football game.
This makes it a run for me.
Sonic baby. Let's go.
So Green Bay is winning this game. That's what you told me. That's cool.
No, Detroit is winning this game because I trust Gibbs and Montgomery more than I trust Jacobs.
Jacobs, the guy that has been a top 3 running back here over the past few years. I definitely would not trust him either. I think the Packers are going to have this game because Jared Goff, his indoor numbers versus the outdoor numbers, he has, I believe, over a 120 passer rating there indoors and then a sub 90 passer rating there outdoors. I don't know what the splits are there for the temperature, but I will say that I feel like Detroit's kind of been riding high. And I feel like even though it's a divisional opponent, you could certainly make the case that there's a bit of an overlooking here. I will say, though, this is a crazy stat. Over the last 5 games, the Lions have 24 touchdowns and 20 total incompletions. So, like, they are definitely on a hell of a roll. Jared Goff is on a hell of a roll. I just like Green Bay here in this matchup. I think that they just kind of split there between the two.
So he is. So this is the splits for dome, outdoors, and retractable. He's got a lot more games played outdoors, but really,
Yes,
But a lot more.
100.
huh?
Look at the touchdown to interception ratio compared to the indoors and the outdoors. That is a huge jump compared.
Yeah.
14 interceptions, and you've got almost 30. We'll say 25 interceptions outdoors compared to a dome.
What the hell are you looking, bud? He's got 52 interceptions outdoors, and he's got 35 indoors.
I see 27 in dome.
Yeah, but also 7 in retractable.
Oh, I wasn't counting the retractable. That's
Well-
just retractable stupid.
Well, it doesn't say.
I mean,
if
even
it's-
still, that's a huge difference
I mean,
between
yeah.
the two.
The dome and the outdoors alone, you're talking 25 interceptions compared to a dome and outdoors with only 14 touchdowns. I mean, that's a huge jump we got to realize when Green Bay's got a good defense and a
14
good secondary
touchdowns.
led by Jair Alexander.
Where'd you see 14 touchdowns at, bud? That says 83 and 97.
Josh, do you want to explain or should we sit here and let him try to figure it out for a sec?
Huh?
The 30, I think you meant 34 interceptions.
14 touchdowns.
No, it's 25. It's math, guys. It's math. Look,
Oh, 20,
outside, he's
25
at-
more. 25 more is what he's saying.
Yes, for the interceptions, it's 25 more of a difference, and the touchdowns
Yeah.
is 14, and he's thrown 83. Outdoors, it's 97. He's thrown 14 more touchdowns outdoors. He's thrown 25 more picks outdoors.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a huge jump.
Well, yeah. I mean, 19 games. I mean, you're silly goose, Josiah. That's that Graham education talking right there, bud. That's what
So
that
you're
is.
talking about okay.
That's what that is, boy.
Hold on. You're talking about a 19-game difference, and 25 interceptions in a 19-game difference is okay to justify?
It's kind of crazy.
Well, you know
I mean, let's not act like
what?
that grandma touchdown, ain't it? I put that Urbana boy on his toes, backed him in a corner.
Yeah, I'm intoxicated. Okay, it's a sipping Friday. Okay, gee, I don't see you guys
It's
sipping.
Friday.
I got
I
my
ran
nice
out of
ice
mine.
cold water. I'm almost out of water, so we should keep this rolling.
Okay,
The
I'm drinking a good amount of this.
I ran out of mine a second ago actually. Rams Seahawks. Rams are favored by 1. Cooper Kupp and Puka had a little bit of a scare rather there earlier on there in the week. Looks like he's going to end up playing though. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Might be Rams, might be Seahawks. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, give me Rams in this one. The Seahawks just seem to be missing that strive on offense. I don't know if Metcalf's going to be playing, but I just cut Tyler Lockett. Screw that guy. So give me the Rams.
DK won't be playing,
Yeah, definitely give me the Rams.
and Noah Fant will be out.
Grant limited. Yeah, give me the Rams.
Yeah.
The Seahawks just got pissed on and shitted on by
Hmm.
the Buffalo Bills in Seattle.
Let's run it back.
Yeah, give me the Rams. Give me the Los Angeles Rams to win a divisional game. And will this be to take control of the NFC West? Is that?
Yeah, because when they beat, who would they beat last week? Whoever they beat last week, that ended up giving them control there of the West.
Fuck, I don't know. Let's see.
Or I think the Cardinals took back control because they played on Thursday Night Football last week.
The Cardinals?
Yeah, I think Cardinals, Niners, I think, are both 4-4.
What are you yapping about, Josiah?
Them Cardinals are my boys.
Oh, man, yep.
Yeah. Team with a minus 27 point differential. Hell yeah.
Hey, just like, do we play the same rules with every team? It's the coach, the O-line, and the defense only. It's not the quarterback's fault? Or do we only do that for the teams that lose to Gardner Minshew and Jameis Winston in the same season?
I don't know. Blame Lamar for losing to two quarterbacks when against both quarterbacks he had excellent games and put up excellent stats and got the team plenty of leads that the defense blew. I just don't know how you blame the quarterback, but whatever you say.
Yeah, I don't know how you have Derrick Henry 10-point lead there against the. Yeah, I don't know how you end up losing that either. The Colts Vikings game, Sunday Night Football. This will be a good game. I will be looking forward to Carrie Underwood's theme music because this game is going to be so good, Josiah. Game of the week. When she mentions the game, you know how sometimes she mentions the quarterbacks and sometimes she mentions the team name. Just depends on the status of the quarterback. She's definitely going to be like, oh, Flacco and Darnold in a nasty showdown. No, it will be a really good game, but against two quarterbacks you would not expect to end up seeing a good game from. What are you guys expecting here?
I am expecting Joe Flacco to show the world why he deserves to be the starter, and he is going to go in here and remind Sam Darnold, hey, I'm the reigning comeback player of the year for a reason. The Colts haven't been a pretty offensive team. We can look at their stats. It's probably going to be pretty crappy. But they're finding ways to win under Flacco, which they weren't doing under Richardson. So I've got a really good feeling about Flacco and this team, the locker room he's got. And it's really wholesome. You know, we talked about this on Monday. But it's wholesome that he got benched for Lamar. And now he takes a job from the Walmart version of Lamar. I guess we'll call him the Aldi version or the Goodwill version now.
How do you think Anthony Richardson is the Walmart version of Lamar? Anthony Richardson is about running a motherfucker over and not juking. If anything, Anthony Richardson is the Walmart version of Josh Allen. He's a Walmart black version of Josh Allen. Low completion percentage.
Yeah.
Dual threat.
See, but Allen could throw. Lamar can't, and neither can Richardson.
But Richardson has an arm. Richardson can air it out.
That's true.
Why are we acting like Lamar's not a passer?
And Richardson, okay, Josiah, do you want me to mute you? The adults are talking, okay?
We will do this again.
Look at top 5 passing in the NFL right now. And then you can mute me.
Anyways, Anthony Richardson and Josh Allen both looked at as reckless quarterbacks who are risking their body on every single play. And I think that's the difference between Josh the past year and a half having Joe Brady as his offensive coordinator. We don't need Josh to be hero ball. And I think if Anthony Richardson can develop and if they're going to let him lose some games, then maybe he can get to a point where he can be a better passer. I mean, Josh Allen was getting made fun of his first couple years because he only had like a 58% completion, you know? Anthony Richardson is just throwing up fours. He was drafted 4th overall and is completing 44.4% of his passes. So, you know, if anything, I think Anthony Richardson is Walmart version of Josh Allen, who
Good
had a
point.
lot less
Side
college
note.
experience.
Side note, though, he got benched. Flacco's looking good, playing well with the team. He's going to come in, have a blast. He's going to throw 3 touchdowns, and the Colts are going to take this one by a field goal.
All right. I'll go Colts. Vikings went from 5-0, first in the division, to 5-2, third in the division in 4 days, 5 days, whatever. So, been a rough time for the Vikings. They are rested, but I am going to go Colts.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the pressure there is kind of riding on Flacco in a weird way because I know they said going forward Flacco is going to be the quarterback, but there's so much chaos there at the quarterback position, at least on the outside, to where I feel like it could kind of seep in. This Brian Flores defense has been bringing the pressure all season long, and Sam Darnold is about to end up getting another weapon back here with T.J. Hawkinson. He's supposed to be playing at least. The big thing that worries me, and it's specifically because of Sam Darnold being the quarterback that this is such a big concern. Christian Darrisaw is going to be out here in this game, and I really think that is a huge loss for a guy like Sam Darnold. So that's why I want to take the Colts here in this game. But just for the sake of being different, and well, it said that. I mean, listen, I don't really have a favorite there in the NFC North. I just want to keep seeing Dubs get stacked up. I want to continue to end up seeing that be such a huge competitive division. So and as a Bengal fan, I need that wild card spot. So Indy, you go ahead and hop out of there for me real quick. I appreciate it. Last game here on the schedule, and well, let's see how many people actually end up watching it. It is the Bucks Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 8.5. Go figure, it's in Burrowhead, so why not? I mean, should it be 18.5? Is that too hyperbolic here?
I think it is just because the Chiefs' offense has been playing well. But at the end of the day, Chiefs got this game. It's going to be a 10, 11-point game, I think. If Baker had his starting 2 receivers back, I think he'd have a shot. But I just think you're asking a lot for Baker to overcome and beat the 3-time Super Bowl champs. So,
Bet the
give me
fourth
the Chiefs in
time.
this one. No, it's not.
I'm going to go the Chiefs because if the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs, then the Bills can't beat the Chiefs for their first loss. So, it's as easy as that.
I mean, hey,
He really wants
the Ravens. The Ravens only lost by a toe. Okay, they only lost a toe. That's all that happened in that game that made them lose. So I mean, Tampa's got a real shot here because No, I'm joking. They have no shot at all, and it should be 18.5 as the over/under there for the Chiefs. I'm going to be watching it because I'm probably going to be starting Kate Otten here in the league since DK Metcalf's going to be out for me. But I mean, really outside of that, I just kind of feel bad for Baker and the Bucs at this point because the expectations were reasonably pretty high. You're going to be battling Atlanta there for a division spot, and you kind of threw the kitchen sink at Atlanta last week, and it just wasn't enough. Not having Mike Evans for the next few weeks kills you because even if you had him now and Godwin was out, I think that this could be a game. Like, seriously. But I just think not also having Mike Evans, that's what's going to destroy them in this game. So, yeah, Chiefs by 18.5. But all right, guys. Well, we ran pretty long there. If you have not already, don't forget, subscribe down below, ring the bell so you don't miss any sort of content. Head over to X, follow us at JJ in the evening. Join the conversation over there. Who Dey? Let's trade Jamar.